why not looking for marriage changes the way you date. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Anthony Spade channel.
Welcome back to the Anthony Spade channel. I want you to watch the whole video. If you like the video, press the like button, press the subscribe button, and press the notifications button if you haven't already. Today we're going to be talking about whenever you're not seeking marriage or seeking a relationship or even seeking to be serious with someone, how it actually changes the way you carry yourself and it changes the way you date. All right, let's get started. First, you're going to learn to be a lot more honest with yourself because there's nobody there for you to impress. That's one thing you're going to learn. See, when you're seeking marriage, you're always putting yourself on boundaries and you're always comparing yourself to the fantasy that you're supposed to be fulfilling, but you're also comparing yourself to everyone around you that may be in a relationship. So a lot of couples in a lot of relationships are actually living out personas. They put themselves in debt to look a certain way. People overspend to look a certain way, all to portray this persona. But whenever you're not seeking marriage and you're not seeking a persona, you learn to live reality. Whenever you're living reality, then you learn to be more honest with yourself. The more honest that you can be with yourself, the happier you're going to be in life because you won't be depressed at unrealistic expectations. Next, you avoid a lot more women with kids. I don't have a problem with guys dating women with kids, because I feel like when you're dating a woman with kids, the only way that you could lose in that situation is if you're trying to be a father, if you're trying to conquer her and her kids. But if you're just keeping it as a weekend fling girlfriend thing, then you're good to go. I feel like that's a good situation, and that's the situation that most guys are left with in today's dating world. But on the other end, where you're not seeking marriage, then you're not seeking, you may not be more prone to be with her. You're rather waited out because you're not in a rush for anything. So you're more compatible with women who don't have kids. You're more likely to try to keep up with them versus being held back with a woman with kids. Next, you don't feel a sense of urgency, which means that everything in life that you do, you don't really have to take too serious. You know, you don't have to have the sense of urgency to get to your job. You don't take everything in life too serious because you have less bills. You have less things to worry about. When people are seeking marriages and they're seeking long-term, they're stressing at their job. They're monitoring their bills. They're monitoring their credit because they're always anticipating if they was to get with someone else, how structured their life already is. So they live being too worried about everything, too structured. But when you're single, you don't have that sense of urgency and you actually get to live more free and less stressful. Next, you have to explain yourself to people more. That's what I hate about being a single person that doesn't want to get married. There's always somebody in your face. Well, what's wrong? Did somebody hurt you? Did you do this? Did you do that? No, I'm just happier being alone. When I look at people on the outside and I look into their relationship, a lot of relationships don't seem happy. Because when you actually get to know yourself when you're single, you know what makes you happy and you know that finding yourself does good things. But when you're around people that are in relationship, you see that both of them are acting a certain way. But if you're around them long enough, you can see that they're actually miserable being around each other. But when you're free and you have nothing to worry about, you spend most of your time explaining to people why you enjoy being alone, but everyone else cannot understand it. The only people that's going to understand it is when they're not around other couples. It's when the man's by himself or the woman's by herself. That's when they complain to their friends what's really going on in a relationship. But single people like us Sigmas that love being alone, we always have to explain ourselves and why we don't want to get married. We always have to explain why we do not want to get married to everybody. Next, when you don't want to get married, you seem to attract all the women that you don't want to be with. All the girls that you do not like seem to always pop up. That's the downfall about actually choosing not to be married. It's like women can smell that this guy right here is a hard catch. This is going to be the hardest guy. And then they love the challenge. They love the complexity. But it's always the girl that you're not attracted to. It's always that one where you're like, should I maybe just one time mess with her, call her over, I'm drunk. She turns into that type of girl. That's the downfall of not wanting to get married. Women can actually smell it, but you always get the ones that you're not attracted to. Next, you learn to live reality. You learn to live for the day. There's no reason for you to think 20 years down the road. Whenever you want to get married, you're always thinking 20 years down the road, which causes you to take things in life a little bit more serious than others. But whenever you're living single, you get to live for day to day. But you can think longer down the road, but you're not living for longer down the road. Typically, single people are living week to week just to ease the stress off of their brain. Next. Now, this is one that I always have to battle. And that's going to be attracting married women and attracting women that are already in relationships. Now, being a man that don't want to get married, these are the type of girls that can sense fast that you don't want to be married because they're around someone every day that smothers them for love. So a lot of women that have boyfriends now are married. The boyfriend actually smothers them with love, smothers them with attention. So when it comes to a guy like me and other Sigmas that don't want to be married, we attract a lot of women that are married because they're looking for a fling. They're looking for excitement in their relationship. And they know that I'm the type of guy that's not going to try to take them away from their husband. I'm the type of guy that will love them one time and maybe not call them again. And it allows them to cheat and get away with it. Married women and women in serious relationships are always seeking the guy that does not want to be in a relationship because it's a fast way for them to have their cake and eat it too. So whenever you're not seeking marriages, expect a lot of attention that you're going to get from women is going to come from married women and women that are in relationships, because all she wants to do is add excitement to her relationships by cheating or having a friendship on the outside with the type of guy she really wants to be with versus the guy that she feels like she's stuck with. Next, the pressure to date becomes non-existent. See, when you choose not to be married, one thing that takes over your mind, body, and soul is your dream. So you're not in a rush to actually date. Dating becomes non-existent because dating's not that important. In order for a person who chooses not to get married to actually date, chances are this has to be somebody that's going in the same direction as him. Somebody that's actually doing the same things that he do. Most people that choose not to get dates spend a lot of time by themselves discovering themselves. They become so addicted to themselves that psychologically it makes it hard for someone to be compatible with them, being that they've learned so much about themselves. And this becomes a non-existing dating world. What we do is we spend a lot of time watching other people go in and out of bad relationships. Our dating world is kind of scarce, but it's not. The thing is, we've learned so much nature of life. We've learned so much about ourselves that we realize the rarity of actually finding someone to complete us is almost 1 out of a million when you actually get to know each other. Men nowadays are better off single because it's the happiest place for you to be based off of the psychology of life. Women have made our world a very delusional world, which is why we're at a place at life now where we had to shut everything down. Dating had to stop. Being free had to stop. Egos had to stop. And people had to be reminded that there are greater things in life versus money. There are greater things in life versus marriage. There's other things in life for people to appreciate, to take more serious than trying to live out personas that are driving people mad. And this is why when you choose not to get married, your dating life changes, the way you think about life changes, and your dreams and will make you happy, and they become more important. This is Anthony Spade. Hopefully I was able to deliver the message. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share button, notification. Hasta la vista.